and welcome to Learn Yourself. Today we are going to solve some of the questions from the chapter number 1. This chapter is under CBSE Standard 9. So let us start from page number 3. The first question is, which of the following are the matter? So when we are considering that this thing is a matter and this thing is not, so we will go with the matter's definition. It says that it has a mass and it occupies space. So what all things will fit into this category is a matter. So I will underline those things which are matter. First, chair. Obviously it is solid and it is a matter. Air. It is a matter. Love. No, that is a feeling. Then smell. Smell is also a feeling. If it is pertaining to some specific smell, then only it is a matter, otherwise no. Only smell is not a matter. Then hate. Again it is a feeling. Then elements. Yes, it is a matter. Thought. No, it is not a matter. Cold. It is not a matter. Lemon. It is a matter. Water is a matter. And smell of perfume is a matter, because a particle of a perfume will move along with air particle and it will reach till wherever we are. So we can sense that smell. How? That particles will move along with the air particle. Only smell cannot be a matter. But smell of perfume, smell of incense stick, smell of hot food, all those are matter. But only smell is not a matter. Moving towards our next question, that is the reason that the smell of hot sizzling food reaches to you several meters away. But to get the smell from cold food, you have to go close. That means the smell of hot food will reach till us at a faster rate and easily. Whereas the cold food smell will not reach till us. So what is the reason? So I have made this table. So in a way it will be very easy to understand it and remember all the point. So we are discussing here three factors, that temperature, kinetic energy and rate of diffusion for particle of matter. So here we are comparing hot food and cold food. So you have to frame it like that hot foods particle are having a higher temperature, so that they are having a higher kinetic energy, and that's why they will diffuses easily or at a greater rate compared to cold food, and it will travel faster and reaches till us. As the rate of diffusion increases, it will move along with the air, so it will reaches till us very easily. Now whereas the cold food's temperature is low, their particles kinetic energy is also very low. So the rate of diffusion of particle to mix with the air is also low. So it cannot reach till us. To smell that, we have to go close to the cold food. So this will be the reason for this question. In that you have to discuss temperature, kinetic energy and rate of diffusion. Because of this three factor, this smell will not reach till us, whereas this smell will reach faster and at very high speed. Our next question is, a diver is able to cut through a water in a swimming pool. Which property of matter does this observation show? Able to cut through means, if we are waving a hand into a water, we can dip our hand and take it back. The same thing is that diver is able to cut through a water. So why we can do that? If it is a solid, can we do that? No, we cannot do that. So because of the two properties of liquid, we can do that. That liquids are having large spacing in between their particles of atoms, and their force of attraction is lower compared to solids. So first thing is they are having large gaps in between their particles of atoms, which allow us to cut through a water or wave us our hand through the water. And second thing is their force of attraction is lesser than the solid, so they will move away. So because of this two property or factors, diver can cut through into the water. So in this first question we have to arrange all this product according to their density, and that too in increasing order of their density. Now first of all, what is the density? Density means mass per unit volume. So that is our density. If we will think about solid, liquid and gas, so solid is a compact substances, so solid has maximum density, then liquid has a little less density compared to solid, and gaseous atoms are least dense among these three. So if we are arranging them according to, in order to, in increasing of the density, then the first one will be the least dense, and then last one will be the most dense. So in this, the least dense, obviously all the gaseous atoms will be least dense, and most dense will be all the solid substances. So first we will identify what all are the solid, what all are the liquid. So these two are gaseous, these two are liquid atoms, and these three are solid atoms. Now from this we have to categorize them, that which one is denser than the other one. Here we will write that least one first. So which one is the least one? Air and exhaust from chimney. Now we know that whenever the air is coming from the chimney, the exhaust is coming from the chimney, it consists of oil droplets, water droplets, and what all impurities will be there in kitchen air will come out of this exhaust. And air is a pure air, so that is less dense compared to this. This is more denser compared to the air. So air will be the least dense one, then it will be the exhaust from the chimney. Now among these two, honey and water, we know that honey is denser than water. So water will come first and then it will come honey. Then these three. Into these three, this chalk, cotton and iron. Now cotton, we know that this is a thread-like material and there are gaps in between that. So the cotton will come first. Among the solid, this is the least dense. After that, the chalk will come. Then after that, the iron will come, because iron is as a metal and chalk is a compound which is lighter than iron. So iron will be the most dense substance among all, and air is the least dense substance among all this. Now let us learn some of the reasons based on characteristic properties of matter. These reasons are from page number 6. So first reason is a gas fills completely the vessel in which it is kept. Now let us compare the three states of matter. I have taken three vessels. In this I have taken marbles, which will act as solid. Then as a liquid I am taking water. So 2 liters of water I am taking into this, and it will occupy some specific space. Solid will also occupy some specific space. Now when we are talking about gas, for example I am taking 2 liters of oxygen gas. Then for example 2 liters will occupy this much space, but will it remain till here? No. it won't remain till here. It will occupy the space, whatever space has been there in the vessel. Why? Because solid has fixed volume, liquid also has fixed volume, but gaseous components do not have fixed volume. They can expand as per the vessel and they can be compressed if we are applying pressure. All these things we have learnt in earlier videos. So why this is happening when it comes with gas? Because gases have very low intermolecular force of attraction. So their particles are at distance with each other. They have large intermolecular gaps in between them. They have low force of attraction and they are randomly moving in whatever vessel they are keeping into it. So first thing is they have very low intermolecular force of attraction. Second thing is they are moving randomly, and third thing is they have very high kinetic energy. So because of all these factors, they will occupy the space whatever they are given it. So a gas fills completely the vessel. Even if a little gas will be there, then also it will occupy whatever space has been given to, whatever space will be there in the vessel. The gas will occupy all the space. Let us see that how can we write it. Whenever we are answering and reason, there will be always a law or any characteristic property or any specific phenomena will be responsible for that. So whenever we are starting writing a reason, so always we will start with that law, that characteristic property or that phenomena, and then we will end with because of that, or that is why this thing is happening, or that is why this thing is like this. So this is the way we can answer any reason. So here when the reason is like this, a gas fills completely the vessel in which it is kept. Here we have to discuss the characteristic properties of gas. So first we will note down all the characteristic properties. So either you will write it in a point-wise manner, that gases have large intermolecular gaps in between them, then they have least interparticular attraction. In a point-wise manner you can note it down, and then you can write because of all these characteristic properties gas fills the vessel, and or otherwise you can write it like this in a sentence. Gaseous particles have least interparticle attraction with large intermolecular spaces. They move in random motion with maximum kinetic energy. Here I have clubbed two characteristic properties in one sentence. That gaseous particles have least interparticle attraction with large intermolecular spaces, and they move in random motion with maximum kinetic energy. So because of these four things, so that one thing is this, second is this, random motion is third, and fourth is this. So because of this four thing, a gas fills the vessel in which it is kept. In this chapter, almost all reasons are based on characteristic property of solid, liquid and gas. So if in exam a reason came which you haven't seen earlier or which you haven't learned earlier, then just see or just check which state of matter they are talking about. Then simply note down its characteristic properties, and you can frame a last sentence like this. It won't be fully correct, then also you will get half mark for the characteristic property of whatever state they have mentioned in the reason. So like that you can answer it, but when you don't know you can try that. Otherwise you have to note down all the characteristic property in a manner that whatever reason has been given, whatever question has been given to you, all this characteristic property will become an answer for that. Second reason is also based on the characteristic properties of gaseous atoms. It says that a gas exerts pressure on the wall of the container. Now we know that gaseous particles are in a random motion. They do have maximum kinetic energy. So when they are in a random motion, they will collide with each other, and at the same time this collision happens with the gaseous container's wall also. So because of this collision with the wall, they will exert some pressure on the container. So because of all these properties of gaseous particles, they will exert pressure on the wall. So how can we write it? That gaseous particles possesses maximum kinetic energy. Particles are in a continuous random motion. First we have to start with that they have maximum energy. And with this energy they are moving. But how they are moving? They are moving in random motion. They have maximum energy and then they are moving in random motion. Because they are moving in random motion, while in motion they will collide with each other and on the wall. So suppose this is a vessel, so they will collide with each other, at the same time they will collide with wall also. So the collision with wall exerts pressure on the wall. So this is the reason that they are exerting pressure on the wall. So the 3 points are important, that they are possessing maximum kinetic energy, they are in random motion, and while moving randomly they will collide with each other and on the wall. This collision with wall exerts pressure on the wall because they are in so much of force, and with this force they are colliding with wall. So because of this collision they are exerting pressure on the wall. So next reason is a wooden table should be called a solid. So why we can say a wooden table is a solid? So here we have to note down all its characteristic properties. So answer will be like this. Wooden table possesses all the characteristic properties of solids like definite volume, definite shape, it's rigid, it has maximum density, it has strong force of attraction between the particles and least intermolecular spacing between the particles of atoms. So hence a wooden table should be called a solid. So all these properties you have to note down. There are completely 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this 6 characteristic properties you have to mention whenever the reason like this will come. Oxygen is a gas, give a reason. Or wooden table is a solid, give a reason. Or water is a liquid, give a reason. There we have to only mention the characteristic properties of that particular state. So you can frame your answer like this. Fourth reason is we can easily move our hand in air, but to do the same thing through a solid block of wood, we need a karate expert. That means we can wave our hand in air, but not easily through the solid block. Why is it so? So we can frame our answer like this, that what all characteristic properties of air will allow us to do so, we will note it down, and what all characteristic properties of solid won't allow us to do so, we will note those down. So it will make this answer clear that why we can do it in the air but not through the solid. Intermolecular spaces are maximum in air but with least force of attraction. Spaces are large and with least force of attraction. Whereas in the solid block, the intermolecular spaces are negligible and with maximum force of attraction. So it is easy to move our hand in air but not through the solids. Because of this two property, the intermolecular spaces and force of attraction, these two properties are different in air and solid. So that's why this property will allow to move our hand in air, whereas it won't allow, or we need a certain specific training to do so in solid block. So because of this two property it happens. So you just have to mention those two property and you can frame your answer. Fourth question is, liquids generally have lower density as compared to solids, but ice floats on water. Why? Because ice is an exceptional case. When water will convert into ice, the density of ice is lesser than the particles of water molecule. So here the per unit volume of ice will be larger compared to its density. So the intermolecular gaps in between ice will be larger compared to water molecule. For example, if this is a water molecules, then this will be a structure of ice. So the intermolecular gaps will widen in ice compared to water. So as a result, what will happen, that per unit volume of ice is larger than its density. So you can frame your sentence like this, that ice has a large intermolecular spaces compared to water. So whatever spaces, intermolecular spaces in water will be there, compared to that in ice it will be larger. So if this is a water, then these are the water particles, then this will be an ice particles. The spaces are larger, and because of this what will happen, that per unit volume of ice is larger than its density. So it can float on water. The density of ice is lesser than that of the water. So that's why ice can float on the water, even though that is a solid form of water. It can float on the water because of these two things, that it has a large intermolecular spaces compared to water. That is also you have to write, that compared to water it has large intermolecular spaces, and because of this per unit volume of ice is larger than its density. So it can float on water. Now we will see questions from page number 9. First question is, convert this temperature in degrees Celsius. So we are learning here two types of scale. That first is Kelvin scale and another is degrees Celsius. Now when we are converting Kelvin into degrees Celsius, then we have to subtract 273 from Kelvin. Now when we have degree Celsius temperature and we are converting into Kelvin, at that time we have to add 273. So here we have temperature in Kelvin and we are going to convert it in a degree Celsius. So we have to subtract 273 from 300. So 300 minus 273 and our answer is 27 degree Celsius temperature. Another temperature is 573 Kelvin. So same way, when we are converting it in a degree Celsius, we have to subtract 273. So answer is 300 degree Celsius. Second question is, what is the physical state of water at 250 degree Celsius? We know that the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. So definitely at 250 degrees Celsius the water will be in its vapor phase or water will be steam. So they will be in its gaseous state. or you can write vapor also. Now at 100 degrees Celsius, that is a boiling point of water. So some of the water has already been converted into steam and some of the water is still boiling. It is in liquid state. So we have to write the answer in a sentence that it is a boiling point of water. So water will be exist in both the states, that liquid as well as vapor or gaseous state. Because it is a boiling point of water, some of the liquid has already been transformed into steam and some water is still bubbling or boiling and it will convert into gaseous state in a later stage. So till now they are in liquid phase. So at this temperature water will exist in both the state, steam as well as in liquid. The next question is, for any substance, why does the temperature remain constant during the change of state? So the answer will be like the temperature will remain constant because the heat energy will used in changing the state of matter. So temperature will remain constant during the change of state. We know that when we are giving heat to ice, at that time at certain temperature, the temperature will remain constant when it is converting into a water. Why? Because whatever heat energy we are giving will used up in changing state of matter. So ice is using that energy to convert itself into water. So the temperature will not rise at particular point of time. Even though we are supplying heat, the temperature will not rise enough because that energy will be used in changing the state of matter. So for any substance, the temperature will remain constant when the change of state is happening. Our fourth question is, suggest a method to liquefy atmospheric gas. So here we have to tell a method by which we can change a state from gas to liquid. Now we can do this by two ways. Either we can reduce a temperature or we can increase a pressure. So by this two way we can liquefy atmospheric gas. How we can do that? While we are reducing the temperature, we can lowering the gaps or intermolecular spaces between the gaseous particles. So they will convert into liquid state. When we are increasing the pressure, at that time we are pressurizing gas. So in a way we are lowering or we are reducing the intermolecular gaps of gaseous molecules. So it will convert into liquid state. So we can frame our answer like this, that to liquefy atmospheric gas, we can either reduce the temperature or increase a pressure. By doing so, we can reduce intermolecular gaps. Here you can write spaces of gas and make it liquid. So by this two method, we can change a gaseous particle into liquid particles. Now let us see some of the reasons from page number 10. First reason is, why does a desert cooler cool better on a hot dry day? Here we have to see that they have asked on particularly on hot dry day. Now what will happen on hot dry day? That moisture in the atmosphere will be very less when it is hot and dry day. So what will happen on that day? That on a hot dry day the moisture present in the air is very less. So the desert cooler evaporates more water because already in the atmosphere the moisture is very less. So evaporation from the cooler will be more as the evaporation will increases, it will keep the surrounding cool. So as the evaporation is more, the surrounding will become more cool. And this is the reason why that even if it is a hot dry day, this desert cooler will keep the surrounding cool with greater effect. Second reason is, how does the water kept in earthen pot become cool during the summer? Now we know that earthen pot is made up of mud clay. Now when this pot is made up of mud clay, it has very minute holes all over the pot. So from these pores the water will evaporate because it is summer, so it will gain the heat from the surrounding and the water will evaporate. As the evaporation will be higher and evaporation will be there, it will keep or it will make pot and water cool during the summer. So entire day you will get a cool water. Why? Because whatever water is keep on evaporating from those minute pore will keep the surrounding and pot cool, and because of that cool pot the water will become cool. So you can frame your sentence like, earthen pot has minute pores as it is made up of mud clay. Water will evaporate from these pores and makes pot and water cool during the summer. So these two reasons are based on the evaporation effect. On hot dry day the moisture in the atmosphere is very less. So that is why the desert cooler effect will be more as it evaporates more. Here the earthen pot has minute holes, from that water will evaporate. Because of the summer it will gain whatever energy what it requires to transfer into a vapor phase. So because of that evaporation the water and pot will remain cool entire day. Next reasons. Third reason is, why does our palm feel cold when we put some acetone or petrol or perfume on it? Basically acetone, petrol and perfume are volatile solvent. As we are keeping it on a surface or pouring it on a surface, it will volatile easily. It will change its state from liquid to vapor very easily by accepting or by gaining heat from its surrounding. So the same thing happens when we are keeping all these three liquids on our palm. It will take the heat energy from our palm and they will evaporate. They will change their state from liquid to vapor by taking the heat energy from our palm. When they are taking the heat energy from our palm, we feel cool. So acetone, petrol and perfume evaporates from palm by using heat energy from our palm. So as the heat energy of palm used up, we feel cold. Because of this heat energy has been used in this changing of state, we feel cold. Another reason is, why are we able to sip hot tea or milk faster from a saucer rather than a cup? That means the cooling happening in saucer is more rapidly compared to cup. Why this thing is happening? Because the surface area of saucer is more compared to cup, which will allow more evaporation and faster cooling as the surface area of saucer is widen enough, right? So it increases surface area. As the surface area will increase, the evaporation rate will become faster. As the evaporation will become faster and speedy, it allows more cooling. It will cool faster compared to cup. So that's why, because of the surface area, the saucer will cool faster and easily and speedily compared to cup. Our next reason is, what types of clothes should we wear in summer? So we should wear cotton clothes in summer as it absorbs sweat easily and expose it to atmosphere. It is doing two things simultaneously, that it absorbs sweat easily and then it will expose it to atmosphere. Now this evaporation gives cooling effect in hot summer. So because of these two reasons we should wear cotton clothes in summer.